Yeah, that's the thing about the spit removal. You know, you can still slash emote, spit. You can still fart. You can still, slap. You can still... Was it the chicken one? Cluck? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? I can't remember. But yeah, you can just do that. They've removed like one small tool in the toolkit for being toxic to a group of people that they value enough to actually change that for. Because you can see they're not going to change that for, they're not going to change... So I got distracted by someone asking me to take my shirt off, but I'm not going to do that. But welcome back, Michael. Yeah, just talking about the spit thing and how they've removed one toolbox. It's one tool out of the entire box of toxicity or toxic behavior. And then they're like, that's it. That's the people that we care about, the people who buy the mounts are now safe from abuse.
Yeah, I'd put it this way. The slash spit thing is, I don't know if we're fully starting yet, but it's more of a fuck you to Asmongold than it is any form of, way of dealing with toxicity that's actually going to work.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Is it time to talk about the spit?
Yeah, it is. Let me just grab a Pepsi real quick.
All right, welcome to the Spit Show. Okay, so where is the spit? Is it in our doc? Is there anything about the doc?
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the all the rest, I think.
All right. Let's talk about spit, everyone. Love a bit of spit.
Yeah, I will have it with you in 1 second.
So you're probably going to want a bit of context on this.
Here it is.
Yeah, sweet. You're probably going to want a bit of context in this whole story of the spit, right? So, am I correct here? This was basically the whole slash spit thing. Was that started by Asmongold in a stream, or is that just something that people did?
I think that's something people did, and then he picked up on it as like a thing to do.
Gotcha. Okay. So the whole thing was, if someone is on a store mount, you click in their character, you type in slash spit. So it's basically, you are using a store mount, I spit on you, sir. Because, for a lot of people, the big feel is that store mounts and the sort of thoughts and practices that go into that are bad for the game. Now, it's the sort of thing, whether it's FF or World of Warcraft, I do agree that I do not like those things being, being in the game. I think that, and it's a bit of why I mentioned Mr. GM and Pyromancer's fun little entry into today's episode of Twitter.com.
What a way to put it.
Yeah, where, there's something to be said about why the FF people are totally fine. Not totally fine. I mean, the 8-seater mount, there's some of the multi-seat mount stuff. There's been some.
Yeah, that's the lunar
but they're
wheel
generally
mount.
more fine than the WoW people. The WoW people, we're very much like, away with that in the store. And there are actually lots of, I think, very genuine good faith reasons for that, which I do agree with. But you guys get the point. Now, the Spitageddon, the waterfall of spit, the Spitagra Falls. I'm really trying hard this time. That was something that was far more of a thing in the Burning Crusade Classic, from what I understand. Because TBC Classic has a store mount. And it's this whole ongoing thing. Mad Season referenced it in his, I'm quitting video, where TBC had no store mount. If you're doing Wrath of the Lich King Classic and everyone's Sparkle Pony gets activated in around the final phase, I would say to that, well, I didn't like the Sparkle Pony at the time. I don't like it now, but I am going to accept it because, technically this is part of the Wrath experience. Now, there being the Warp Stalker mount in the Burning Crusade Classic, for a lot of people, they see that and they think, a store mount? In Classic? Really? Because it is, you get the digital deluxe, you get a mount, right? That is a store mount. People think, oh shit, is Blizzardo trying to do us even harder? Are they going to put more store mounts in the Burning Crusade Classic? Are they going to do that? Maybe they could. Boosts? People weren't big on the boost. The character clone? Remember that shitstorm? Oh boy, right? So because of that, if somebody was on the fence of slash spit in retail or modern, I suppose modern's probably the correct way to reference it. If someone is on the fence of using spit to let someone know that they disagree with their in-game mount, well, damn. In TBC Classic, they're going to be on a different side of the fence, and they're going to be typing in slash spit, because to so many people, that is a betrayal or whatever. Now, I would overall say here that I am not a fan. I've never been a fan of the whole /spit thing. Now, if I see somebody in, in game, right, and they're in, a full, everything in their character is like store stuff, I'm going to think, oh, wow, it's one of those people. Blizzard loves you. And then I'm going to go on with my day.
Yeah, it's like, that's the modern equivalent of, an eBay character, except it's more insidious because the eBay money goes straight to Blizzard.
Yeah. It's the sort of thing, I'm not going to be like, I will judge you.
Yeah.
But I will just be like, oh, yeah, okay. Now, for me, it's like, if somebody's just on the 6-month sub, using the 6-month mount, I mean, like, I don't give a shit. The new one is actually really quite cool. That does actually all frustrate me because that is a mount that should be something earnable in the next expansion, as many store mounts have proven. Hello there, Fae Dragon. So Blizzard are obviously not happy that there's this situation where a part of their community is literally spit emoting another part of their community. So how has Blizzard decided to solve this problem? Just remove the spit emote. Easy.
There you go.
Now, you can just type in /E. You might not know this. You can do your own custom emotes in World of Warcraft. Now, and the RPers will, of course, know this. Now, those custom emotes won't, animate your character or anything. But I could just type in, /E, target someone's character, spit. And the spit emote will happen. It's not the official spit emote, but it is a spit emote. And even if they went and removed that, I mean, come on, we could just say /chicken. And then that could be the community meme for a store mount person. Oh, look at all those chickens in the Blizzard coop, begging for scraps, laying eggs and getting store mounts in return. Maybe it's not the best analogy, but you guys get the point, right? So it's the sort of thing where this is a gesture by Blizzard that is saying, okay, you guys abuse the spit emote. You don't get to have it anymore. We don't like that type of behavior. But all that's going to do is make people roll their own manual spit emote. And then whenever Blizzard tries to fix that, people will be even more incensed because they're going to see the Blizzard as, targeting them and their opinions, trying to quash them. And then the people are just going to work out different ways to express their dissatisfaction at players. And I think that's the big thing here. The /spit, it's not a fuck you to Blizzard. It is a fuck you to another person for engaging in Blizzard's business model in a way that the spitter does not approve of. So that's why it's an issue for Blizzard. Overall, it's a messy situation. I would basically say this. You are absolutely free to use the in-game chat system in whatever way that you want, as long as it is within the bounds of the terms of service of the game. I don't really think that being, not being polite to somebody, that being, nasty to somebody, I don't think that's going to help the problem. I would say, you always get into the fuck you, I'm not going to do what you told me. So if you're /spitting in somebody, now this is the thing. If you're in there /spitting in somebody because they're using a store mount, what is that other person going to think? That other person is going to think, oh wow, look at all these sad, pathetic internet people spitting in my character. I'm just going to buy another store mount. Because that's going to be their natural reflex, right? So it's just the sort of thing, I think it's not a nice way to conduct oneself, but also it'd be, and I suppose more importantly to the cause of the people doing the spitting, I don't really think it's going to help. In fact, I think it will engender more of a divide, and it will engender a doubling down in engaging in MTX from the people who get the store mounts. So the spittees rather than the spitters.
I have really very little idea why they would do that, to be honest. It's almost like, how do I put this? Reminds me of the Streisand effect.
Yeah.
Because now you've just made a big thing about removing spit, and everyone's going to talk about it more and more and more, which means, it's almost as if you said about like the /chicken, or if the community decides on /fart or anything else, or /rude, or whatever it could be, suddenly you've just made the problem significantly worse by highlighting it, and you've done nothing. Like I don't see how this is going to help anyone except for someone maybe there's a load of tickets being fired at Blizz from people who are going, I feel, attacked in game because I keep getting spat on for using this mount. And they're like, well, we have to keep the people that we pay us more, we have to defend their experience. So we'll remove this tool. But it's such a short-sighted, very silly change that I'd love to sit down with whoever made it and like talk to them about what they thought it would accomplish.
Yeah, I imagine they don't have a, I imagine that in their head, this is part of a broader plan or something. They can't think that this is the real solution. Yeah. But, so look, we've talked about the spit thing here. And I think it's basically, yeah, everyone knows it's rude. The people doing it know it's rude. That is, in fact, why they do it. I'm saying that, like, not only is that rude, but it's probably also not going to achieve the goals of the people doing the spitting.
Yeah.
And overall, I think it's probably even more useful to just bring this a level up and talk about why toxicity even exists in video games and what propagates it. Because, and this is, a big point of discussion, but it's game design breeds toxicity. If you do this stuff with the store mounts, you are going to, you're going to open yourself up to this sort of thing happening. If you create the Mythic Plus system, then you are going to create a weird situation where, because of LFD, people are disposable. And because of the scoring system, it's very easy for someone to fuck up your resource. So you have easy to fuck up, people are disposable. Oh boy! What a surprise! People are nasty to each other in Mythic Plus groups!
Whoopsies.
Fuck, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Toxicity is created by game design. And this is the thing that game designers need to understand. Toxicity is a symptom of player frustration, right? It's like people need to stop. It's like with subtext and pretext in narrative, right? There's so many people who have, it's almost like they've forgotten that subtext is a really important thing. I've noticed this from a lot of American media recently, where it's like the things that usually are like, working in this kind of subtext or thematic layer, characters just flat out say to each other. And I'm just like, wow, is this show written with like a mallet and a big piece of ham? Right. So when we apply this to video games, that is essentially the situation. Think about it in the real world, right? You can have a dead-on person, but you throw them in a system that society has designed, they'll get angry. I'm in my car. Somebody commands their car to a not satisfactory level to me. I'm going to be saying, in my head, I'm going to be thinking, all right, hey there, Elon, can you put a fucking railgun in the next one?
I'll drain your battery.
Probably would. But that's, you know what I mean, right? You put a regular person, like, I like to think that I am not a raging arsehole all of the time, but fuck me, if I'm in the road and somebody is, engaging in some fucking subpar driving behavior, if you're sitting there, you're in a 70, someone is there, 55, hogging the lane, 55, it's not going well, you're just going to be thinking, my God, if this was the wacky races and I had, if I had Dom's big bottle of NOS and a nice snowplow, you get for us, a right lane hog, for the Americans and much of the rest of the world, a left lane hog. Oh boy, there's going to be blood. Because nobody knows that you're always supposed, in the American thing, or like for us, we drive on the right-hand side of the road. So, the overtaking lane, you're supposed to use that to overtake and then always filter back as left as you can. That's like literally the way that highways are supposed to work. Someone doesn't follow, and then you think, oh wait, why does this happen? Oh, well, it's because really there is not the best education for motorway driving here in the UK, so people aren't going to do it properly. A few things like that, and then you realize, oh wait, this whole toxic situation of, being a frustrated road user, that toxicity actually comes from, it's basically an emergent property of a system that sets people up and pits them against each other, like Mythic Plus. So Mythic Plus is just like a highway, or a motorway as we call them. There you go, work that out. Yeah. But that's like a lot of the point. LOL, solo queue. Again, it's very important that you win because you don't want your ranking to go down. someone else can totally fuck it up for you. In fact, I would say that's maybe even why HOTS suffered more than LoL. Because this is something we've talked about quite a bit, because we actually both think that HOTS is great.
I love Heroes of the Storm.
Beautiful game. But HOTS is so it is so team-based that, it's like in League, you can really have one or two amazing players carry. You couldn't do that as much in HOTS. And that actually is something that could make HOTS even more toxic. Because, you cannot be the absolute slapper who, dominates the match and wins for your team because of the way that it works. Therefore, you're going to be more toxic to your teammates because you've got to rely on them more. And I think this is just, this is just something that I think we all need to think about when it comes to game design in these multiplayer games.
I mean, if I'm going to bring FF14 into it, I've seen significantly less toxicity in my time, but also the systems aren't there to make people quite as toxic. But the very basic stuff does, where it comes to you're not doing this dungeon fast enough. This person's not doing enough DPS. This Sprout tank's not pulling as much, so we're not getting through this as fast as possible. Or someone's being a dumbass in a trial, or some extreme difficulty thing. Something's gone wrong, and that is you are directly wasting 7 other people's time if you're the one who makes a mistake.
Yeah.
That's how that whole thing works. So the natural forces there are for you to say, well, fuck off, get out of my group. We'll get someone who's good at it.
Yeah.
But there's the same reason, when someone pisses you off by stepping in front of you in queue, or whenever someone looks you up and down the shop and you really want to break his nose, but you don't. That's there's consequences for actions.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I think Blizzard really don't quite get. It's because so much of early World of Warcraft was social consequences.
Yeah.
They've all but vanished.
Because people are disposable.
Yeah. Not even just people, but because of the entire system of it. And then also the lack of GM stuff. There's no ramifications for being an asshole in World of Warcraft. Because, people are disposable and you're not going to get booted. But then you are going to get booted. If you're a real bastard in FF, there's more chance of you getting, kicked or banned or reprimanded by a GM than in WoW.
That seems to be the case. And then it's in a way even worse because, you had your example there about, somebody plays bad, it wastes 7 people's time.
Yeah.
If you add in something like the Mythic Keystone system, not only have you wasted people's time in that run, but you have also wasted them time in the future because their key is depleted and because for a bunch of people, right, they are not MDI competitors. They're not there pushing their plus 12 to plus 14 or plus 15 by getting an amazing time. They do a run, they time it, it goes up by 1. Some asshole pug, number 1 gives them a 45-minute long hell run where they just barely time, or no, they deplete the key. So not only have they had this bad experience, they then, in order to get back to where they were, have got to get another disposable pug in and then do the thing again and hope that they get back to where they were. So you can very obviously see how, if you are somebody, or just people engaging in Mythic Plus, we had 1 or 2 bad experiences with a pug a week and a bit ago where it was inspired bolstering. No.
The one we were in?
Yeah.
No,
it was
that
the
was
Spires run.
I can't remember what the other one was. It was Inspiring Week, whatever else it was.
It was basically the week to do trash well.
Fortified Inspiring then? Fortified Inspiring.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but anyway.
But what this tank did is, he was just pulling, the big fisters, the big fisty robot boys. He was pulling them and patrols where the patrols had Inspiring or something like that. Even though we were saying, hey, you pull these, we just want to go to a nice, clean, smooth run, time this key well. Person didn't understand and, ends up just quitting. There you go. Key gone.
Yep.
While out, fuck that. And it's this terrible situation where, that person, it was engaging in toxic behavior, especially with the rage quit, even though we were being plied.
Yeah.
But it also is set up in a way where that person is not going to learn. I mean, they've just had this negative experience. And with the whole /spit thing, are they, some people are going to have that negative experience and think, wow, well, I need to be the man of the hour. I need to reflect, grow, and in the next run, I won't make that mistake again. That is not most WoW players. It's not most people.
Yeah, I mean, that tank likely didn't understand why he died, which is, or why we all died. Probably just left in a huff, went, well, fuck this group. They're all shitters. I was the only good one there. And then he'll come back and he'll just do the same thing. But that's what I found the system of pugging in game actually is. The system of pugging in World of Warcraft is just smash your head against it until you get people depends on what kind of player you are. It's either until you get players who will carry you, which is, the case for, I'd say, far too many people, or until you get players who don't hold you back enough that you can't do it. And that's the whole thing of just, there's too many people for you to care about them in that sense. But there's I don't know. There's just no consequences for being either bad at the game or being an asshole. And that means that people are incentivized to be either bad at the game because it's easy or assholes because it's satisfying. And there you go. You've got where we are now.
Yeah.
It's really brutal, and I don't know what could be done about it in the short term. Outside of, redesigning all your systems in a way that they aren't so stuff.
Do you know what it is? Slow but meaningful.
Yeah.
Because if you want to juice the fuck out of your engagement, something like Mythic Plus is going to do the job because it's just setting up that treadmill, setting up that rat race that people are going to engage in that way. And that is going to produce a bunch of the results that you want. It's going to create a gameplay niche that a whole bunch of people enjoy. And a byproduct of that is one of the things that drives many people away from Mythic Plus.
Yep.
Now, if things were different, I don't know exactly how they'd be different, but, something slower, something that involves less in the way of pugs, something that is encouraging people to go into guilds, takes longer. Takes a lot longer for that to actually happen in your game. Right? It's going to take months and months and months and months for people to find their guilds and settle into places they like. But the thing is that once somebody does that, they'll be a more sticky player because they'll have those bonds of friendship. And I think that's the thing. The more that you don't need to be in a guild and you're doing pugging, just the messier that it gets.
Yeah.
It's certainly the only, I would say, I don't mean the only reason, it's only the guild and the people that's the reason we're playing. I'd say the only reason that I find myself, and I think it's probably similar for you, able to play World of Warcraft is because there's a guild. Because if I wanted to do that content, but had to do it via a pug or something, I simply wouldn't play. But because we've got a guild, we can do Mythic Mondays, we can, do our things. It's all good. Have fun. But I think if you just try to juice up that solo experience where other people are a resource in your journey, you do that too much, you'll get a lot more engagement short term, but I just wonder about what it does to a community. Perhaps we're finding that out. And you know what? Maybe you could have seen this coming, but at the same time, this is all new to so many devs as well.
Yeah, that's what I think is the most important part about this is we are very, very much in, I guess, fresh territory, uncharted waters as far as game design goes. And I think World of Warcraft might be one of the first things that this has actually happened to over time. As player base size have grown, as, the connectivity across the world has grown significantly. It's the same effect that I feel people have living in cities. And it's even a big change. I've went from, a village to a big major bustling city in Belfast. But it's still, I know how I see people has massively changed since leaving a smaller town and moving to a city. And I don't see people as people anymore. They're just walking question marks. I walk up the same street I walk up the Dublin Road to come to the office every day, and I walk it back. The only time I see the same people again and again that I recognize are people who work in shops.
Yeah,
that's it. It's insane to me that I do not recognize people walking up and down that street, and I do it twice a day. I do not understand how that's even possible, but it's just people aren't people, and it's the same as World of Warcraft. I don't have room in my head for this many people.
Yeah.
And it's the same in World of Warcraft. It's the same in League of Legends.
Where humans are human. I don't mean meant in some prescribed way, but evolutionary. We're not meant to live the way that we do right now. It's not the sort of thing we evolved to deal with good. Now, being in World of Warcraft in a tightly knit guild, that is a lot closer to what we naturally sort of evolved to be doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? Maybe being in a good guild is like cozy life in the village, and being a pugger is just like being a zoomer in the city who's just drinking, doing coke, doing some runs, and probably is going to burn out pretty soon.
I mean,
have we solved it?
Basically, yeah.
Mythic Plus and Society in one stream.
Yeah, no,
Easy.
Yeah, no, I could. It's so weird. I mean, the only thing that I think is currently keeping FF from devolving too hard is that it's a smaller game by comparison. GMs are a bit more brutal, and I think that's kind of it so far.
I think some systems,
the systems aren't designed to wreck people as hard as current ones in World of Warcraft, but they're not really too much fundamentally stopping people from having the same problems. I guess it's just that so far I think the FF community are highly aware of that. So I see a lot of people who are like, fuck, this is, for long players is like, this is our time to shine. This is our time to actually take these, these WoW refugees and, make non-toxic players out of them. Basically.
Yeah, and that is actually a thing. I really hope for the FF crowd that they don't experience a diminishing in the quality of their communities and things like that, because in my head, the WoW people, we're all customers of a game, but on a sort of a bigger thing, community level, the WoW people in FF are the new people. They should treat the people who have been there for a long time with, a level of respect.
Yeah. You would certainly hope so anyway, but no, cities are not made for humans.
Yeah.
Cities are not made for humans. They're made for sardines. That analogy doesn't really work, does it?
You can feel it.
Yeah.
So, there we go. We've talked about spitting.
That was certainly a longer discussion than I imagined. But I think it's a really important one that speaks to speaks to the very, very core of World of Warcraft and MMOs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's about that community, and that's largely gone.